Okay, traders. Now, welcome to the live session for the Aussie employment numbers. All right. Now, unlike a bit of a calamity during the US CPI numbers, the only thing that we'll be doing here is trading if there's an opportunity, right? And the idea is is to run through some analysis with you guys, get your feedback, what you think might be if my sort of what I see is happening, see if that's right, see if it lines up. If it doesn't, why not? And actually, let's have a little chat about it because you know what, more than one person analyzing the market is better than just one. You can get a bit of a cross section. It can either confirm what you're doing, it may question what you're doing, or even turn off what you're doing. So that's what usually happens in the dealing rooms leading up to the numbers. All right. But now the Aussie employment numbers, let me just come down to that, this data, right? So we've got the unemployment rate and the employment number, right? Now, this is obviously, key to getting things moving. These are the two key numbers. There are a couple of other components which you can sort of look at, and they might be. I think they still go into full time these days. There's a bit more structure with the full time employment, so it is something they look at a little bit. But really, the unemployment rate, right, and the employment change, and seeing what component of that is full time is like the extra thing you would look at. All right, so that's where we are, right? And one thing to do is sort of get a bit of an idea of what the backdrop of the market is. Now, it took about 3, maybe 4 hours after the Fed. US yields slightly down. We've got the equity markets going up, Euro, Sterling, Aussie, Kiwi going up now, and the dollar going down. This is like the first time all week, I think, where we've got this just looks like the perfect little picture, right? Everything's sort of moving in the right direction. But this is where gets a little bit tricky, right? Because we're like, we've been looking at the Aussie and everything else that's going on. It sort of doesn't line up with what was happening after the numbers, but obviously that has changed a little bit. Let me just come over to the charts, right? And if I just come over to the global charts, the where's my little pen gone? Okay, so now obviously when if you come into these situations, you're looking for uniformity on especially Euro, Sterling, Aussie, and Kiwi, because these four pairs are, quoted the same way against the dollar. So they should really be behaving unless there's something weird happening. Now, I was reading a bit more about, the impact of that Erdogan locking up his main political rival there. Okay, it was sort of, I think the initial impact, it was labelled a coup. It may still well be. He's been charged with corruption and organising some sort of terrorism act. So anyway, that's put like a shockwave through the emerging markets in Europe, and actually has the impact of sort of holding down euro, right? The whole situation here now, Putin and Trump talking about a ceasefire. Well, it hasn't really happened yet. That's a bit of a negative. They thought the market was anticipating a positive there. We've got the negative from, say, Turkey Air. Okay, notice the pronunciation there, very different. The and so that's so to me, euro is like diffused, right? We've got a little bit of dollar weakness here, right? Trickling into the market, but it doesn't seem to work for euro because there's other things happening. Sterling to me looks pretty good. Okay. Then you consider what have we got coming out? The Bank of England, we've got the unemployment numbers. We've got a whole bunch of data coming out today in Europe that if it all lined up positive, we see a very good move to the top side. If it's a bit up, bit down, you probably still see sterling where it is. The Bank of England not expected to change rates, and along you'll see most of these central banks will take guidance from the Fed and come out with the same sort of stuff. Uncertainty, not sure, wait and see. Those are the key themes. So what all I'm doing at the moment is just getting a cross section of the market. I got to say I still like dollar Swiss. We do have the Swiss National Bank later, early in the European session. So you know what? If they didn't cut rates, it'd be good for a move to the downside. I just like it. And don't forget this whole European situation and everything else that's going on, it's good for the safe havens, right? You've got dollar yen really sort of kicking into gear with the weak dollar safe haven play, and same with dollar Swiss. It looks to me very appetizing, and I do have a trade set up for prime time pro for dollar yen. Now, coming into the trickier sort of zone is what I would call it. Looking at the Aussie Kiwi CAD, right? The commodity currencies. Now we've seen commodities go up Monday aggressively, Aussie Kiwi CAD go up, they turn around, they go back down. So obviously these are the commodity currencies, and also the three pairs that are most likely to be impacted by these big tariffs put on China. Now, I'd still think we're at least 2 months, maybe even 3 months away from really seeing a major impact. You say 6 months down the track, they should really be choking things. But it's all about the timing of when this is going to happen. So we've got a situation here where take out the issue in Europe, euro would be going up nicely, which it's not. Sterling is going up. It's they'll be sitting there going, thank Christ we're out of the euro itself. Okay, it's cost them a few bucks, but a good decision. And then we come back down to the Antipodeans, really the Aussie and Kiwi. Now the Kiwis just had some really good GDP numbers, sort of suggest they're out of recession, but look at the move. It's like a dead duck bounce, right? And this is what I'm worried about with the Aussie against the dollar. Okay, we might get some Aussie good numbers here, but is it going to go up? I don't know. It looks a little bit awkward to me. Now, if you're looking at the global markets as a backdrop, well, then you're sort of looking at go, hang on a second, Brad. The data shows us that we've got a nice setup here, and we do. We have a risk on profile, but that doesn't mean all of these things go up at the same pace. Look at sterling. Actually, this is a good indication. It's up 10 points, and the Aussie and Kiwi up four or five. Now the Kiwis have just had strong GDP numbers. It's up 4 points. It tells you the market's not terribly interested in that at the moment. Doesn't mean it can't change. I'm just concerned getting into the Aussie dollar here, right, is going to be a bit of a head kicker with the tariffs and all that sort of stuff, maybe against the dollar. The dollar to me looks a little bit clouded. So when I come into looking at the markets here, and I've had a bit of a look around, I've even started adjusting some of the templates just to just to make myself feel a bit more comfortable. I'm looking at a couple of pairs here, and I want to run you through these. So weak economic data, right? So a higher unemployment rate and a lower employment change. I'll be looking to sell Aussie Swiss. I like Aussie weakness, right? We're seeing Swiss strength, okay, as a safe haven, definitely. Now, if we get weak numbers, I'm definitely going to be going into Aussie Swiss downside. And you know what? It'd be great to see one of these calamities from the Swiss National Bank, who are notorious for screwing the market up. If they didn't cut rates, well, then Swiss is going to rally through the roof. It'd be a pretty nice trade. At the same time, sterling, as I've just sort of gone through and showed you, sterling is going up against the dollar. Aussie's suppressed against the dollar. So sterling Aussie topside, buying sterling Aussie on weak numbers looks good as well. Now, strong echo data. Okay, if we got strong Aussie numbers, I'm thinking Euro Aussie would be the play, right? Now, let me just take you through these three components. And this is all you need to be doing leading up to these numbers. And I've just, been sitting here the last sort of half hour, just going through my charts, right? Just sort of tuning a few things up. So I've just switched over to my Aussie template, right? Which gives me, I know some of you may have this, some of you may not. You've got the majors there. I mean, all the crosses there. And if I come across, this is not a bad little page to have as you come into the numbers, because we will see the employment numbers here, full-time unemployment rate. I probably just have to move that down a touch. Where are we? Oh, yeah, there's the rate. What am I looking at? I'm a bit blind. Okay, unemployment rate and the employment number, employment change. I've got the Aussie bonds, just to have a look and see what's going on there. all the Aussie crosses. You've got the futures markets and the equity markets there, Aussie, Asia, and North America. So this is a really good cross section page where you know what you can have all your bits and pieces here in front of you. Now this is why I'm sort of saying that is just to get you really comfortable. It's important you feel confident and comfortable in front of the screens. Now, I haven't actually tuned up this little chart, but let me just quickly do that. So then I look at this, I feel confident that I can identify what's going on. And there we go, right? So now the Aussie is at a little bit of a crossroad. If I just come into here, see how it's like struggling to get any momentum topside against the dollar. It's sort of like they're sort of countering each other somewhat. Now, let me just come back and show you those instruments that I was looking at. Okay, so just on the face of it, just having a look, I can look around and go, yeah, Aussie Kiwi lower. Okay, that's good. The Widowmaker, it's cost me loads of money over the years. I don't really get involved in it too much. Now, Euro and Aussie, as I was saying, there's weakness in the Euro, right? And that's going to hold any progress to the top side. So if we get slightly stronger Aussie numbers, downside Euro Aussie definitely looks like a thing. Looking at the cross on the short term, I mean Aussie yen, it sort of hasn't really kicked in yet. But then you got Aussie Swiss, right? It has been doing some things. It's sitting below the bull bear pivot line. Sterling sitting above, looks good for a move up. And Aussie CAD, well, this is another commodity currency. So I'm not exactly, fully into that puppy as well. Now, let's get into that's sort of like a bit of an overview, right? But what I want to show you is if I just come in here and this is what I've sort of just tuned up, I found with my charts, right, having them all the way down, it sort of distorts the picture a bit. So what I've done is on my templates here, I've added like the sort of general news, breaking news, any news that comes through, I can see that. And then over here, I've got Euro news. Okay, so or I actually could even be a little bit more specific with that and just type in Euro Aussie. And that'll give me anything related to Euro Aussie, right? But you can sort of adjust that as you need to get going. So downside, like you can see here, yeah, it's sort of just below the bull bear pivot line. It does have like a short-term downtrend. Look how far it's up against the Aussie overall. I mean, the momentum is going down. There's plenty of scope here for this to go down, right? So strong Aussie numbers. I'd be selling Euro Aussie. Okay. Now, Sterling Aussie, it's a different picture because, I mean, and they've got this price distortion, which you can get. Rarely you get that, but when it does, it screws up your chart. So I can't like get the whole picture there, but all I need to be able to see at the moment is, okay, it's above the bull bear pivot line. If I was bold enough to draw a little short-term support line, that's the one I would have. And let me just change that to orange because it's not really significant. It just shows you where, that support is building up. And on the longer term time frame, Sterling Aussie looks good. Now, Sterling Aussie is it's around two, up around two something. When I was working in London, it was at 315, right? So down here, it's really cheap. Okay, so Sterling Aussie, I can see massive scope for top side. And this is the thing, if we get into Sterling Aussie, you got to be thinking about, the Bank of England, unemployment figures for the UK, all these sorts of things as you go into that session. But for now, we've got, you got a good 6-7 hours before that stuff comes out. So we're looking for some opportunities. Now, you can go across and have a look. I'm just going to focus on the ones that I really like at the moment. Aussie CAD, I'm not really into it. Aussie and CAD doing the same sort of thing. Aussie Swiss. Now, I've really got a thing for dollar Swiss at the moment, or the Swissy, and it's taken me about 9 years to get my head around the last massive blow up by the Swiss National Bank. But just having a look at this, right? So now this trend line here, what I would do there is change the color. Like the way you draw trend lines, and if you are using some sort of color tone for your lines, having the wrong lines in the wrong spot can give you the wrong impression. To me, that's just a potential entry level on the downside. Okay, it's not like a support line. And you can see this thing is sort of cruising downside. We've been waiting for some numbers, and the Aussie numbers could be the go-to here. Momentum is down. That looks good. Overall, Aussie Swiss is heading south. Okay, and there's good reason for that. There's Swiss safe haven. You got Aussie coming up with the tariffs, a whole range of things, right? And it's been doing some work here and starting to roll over. I like the look of it on a long-term perspective as well.
Hey, Brad, can I ask a question?
You certainly can, Mike.
Okay, I'm looking at New Zealand dollar, and we're up near on the hourly, we're up near a resistance line here. Would you consider New Zealand a trade on these Aussie numbers? Because they usually are running in lockstep.
Well, that's actually a really good point, Mike, because this could actually be the trade and like one of the trades because just for those that like Aussie and Kiwi correlate 99% of the time, right? So, and if the market's not ready to take it on, you can see that resistance line that's sitting there. It's the last resistance line holding it down at the moment. If we got good Aussie numbers and you're not sure about the Aussie, well, the Aussie might go up, but it could be the catalyst for the move for Kiwi. Absolutely, Mike. That's a pretty good pickup, right? And I think I might have mentioned this last week. Even looking at Euro news, if it was strong, trading sterling because it's got better momentum, and what the fact is also trading Kiwi around the Aussie release, you're not going to get the volatility that you quite often get with the Kiwi releases. So yeah, stronger numbers. That's actually a really good point. And something that I would add to the checklist there, Mike. That's a good pickup. Does everyone understand why we're doing that? Why that would be the case? I know some of you guys may not have microphones, but just type it in if you want to get involved. That's the way to do it. All right. So I'm looking at that setup right now. Now it's like I'm really looking at Aussie Swiss in particular. So there's a number of different things that you could pick. As I was just saying, and Mike adding there actually, the okay, so I'm looking at this puppy here as my go-to. Sterling Aussie looks good. Euro Aussie, and I would put in there strong echo data, the Kiwi against the dollar, right? Because it's like a pseudo, it's like trading the Aussie, but it's like a pseudo trade. It's going to replicate what the Aussie does on the numbers. Now, just have a look here. Like this is the key to it as well, right? And like unlike the CPI numbers where we just look at one number, you've got two things to look at here. This is sort of more important. You know, the the outcome 4.1 and 30K. Now, if we get one weak number and one strong number, okay, it's not great, obviously, because you're going to see a reaction like the market will hit immediately and then react. Usually it's on the change, right? The same as the non-farm payrolls. Then they look at the unemployment rate. You can get that whipsaw. So you don't want this setup, and you do not want the opposite, like a lower employment change and a better rate, right? That is no good, and the other is not good. But if we do get both, then we're in, right? And you don't necessarily have to choke yourself or put yourself under pressure to get in on the actual release because there's two numbers here, important numbers that we're looking at, right? So everyone comfortable with that, right? For me to get into the trade, what I would do, right, instead of looking at every outcome, I will look at just the ones I need, right? But I'm looking for Aussie Swiss, right? And I'm not necessarily trying to push you into the Aussie Swiss because there's the Kiwi, Euro Aussie, Sterling Aussie. They all look pretty good. I'm looking for this specifically. I need a higher unemployment rate, and I need ideally a lower employment change. One thing that can work for us, right? I should have mentioned actually, is a higher unemployment rate and a neutral outcome on the change, right? That is still a sell situation. Everyone comfortable with that? Like it's
Yep.
sort of a bit basic, but that is important. And the same thing goes if we got a really big employment change and the unemployment rate was the same, that's good. That takes that out of play, and we're selling because of this puppy. Ideally, for our nicer trade, we get this and this, right? So that's what I'm looking for. And you know what? The main reason, all I need is, right, part of this 10-week challenge to make some money is I just need one good trade, right? So that's why I've just cherry picked the best trade that I like, that I think fits the picture for me, and that's what I'm going for. So, but work with your favorite instruments. That's the key to it. So let me just get my trade station set up. So you don't like, this is one of those things. You don't need to like go and reinvent the wheel. Okay. So what I need to try and do is get you guys in the picture here. Okay. So one thing I'll do is I'll just get the data up. Now I think I can just change the font here and just make it a little bit smaller. Let's go large. Okay. So then I can try and get my platform up here, and then trade the numbers. I would like to see the revisions, but we'll do that afterwards, eh? Just going to drag some of these things across so I can actually sort of see them just where I need to see the poll, get the actual number. Okay, so get yourself set up, like just get comfortable. Now, the idea isn't to put yourself under pressure, as I said. Um, Now, I'm going to be trading this live, as in I want to hit the market myself. Um, what have I done there at the top? That's not good. Uh, I'm just looking for. I always mess this thing up. I come into this, and then there's the news. That's great. I don't want the calendar. I want to hit the bloody market. Right. Yeah. So the idea is to get yourself set up here. I'm just trying to work out where all my numbers are, and you know what? I actually go through. No, I don't want that. I go through C Trader and get everything organized, and then I screw something up. The Okay, Aussie Swiss. Now let me just get my fast thing on. So all you need to do is just get comfortable with what you're setting up, right? If you're using pending orders, well, get organized with that. If you're looking for uh, something else, I'm just going to add that quick trade.
So have you got in your head already strong number or weak number?
I'm just looking weak number. I'm not even really considering strong numbers.
Okay.
That's how, like, once if it comes out strong, Mike, I know which ones I will look at. I'm looking to get into the trade and run it a bit longer. So um, yeah, so that's where we are. My God. Anyone see what I'm supposed to be looking at there with on the right hand side? I should have my order thing, right?
Like the new order?
Well, like just the ability to place the trade. I want depth. I don't want depth of market. I want to hit the price. For some reason, I've got something a little bit messed up here. Obviously, done something to the. Ah,
Hey Brad, do you hear me?
yeah,
I think if you hit up where it says new order, I think if you click on the right side
yeah.
with the little box where it said trade watch or active symbol, hit that. See if you can
Active symbol. Which Denny's which
all the
one?
way up next to the new order on
Top
your left
left.
side, all the way
Top
up top
left.
left. Yes,
Top
top
left.
left.
Oh yeah, right.
Yes, and then now next to it,
Yep.
maybe if you hit next to it, the other one. Oh, okay, so it's on. Okay, I think you can work it out with the new order, I think. Anyways.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have to do that because it's.
Yeah.
like last thing you want to do is like you get to this stage. I've done all the work on the charts. Let me just put minus 30. Okay. You just got to put some parameters in here, right? Okay, market range. Okay, 55.71. If I hit place order, that should be fine. All right, thanks for that. I don't know what the hell I've done there, but that is good to know. So that's actually not bad because all I need to do. Oh yeah, you can have that. Oh no, it doesn't like that. I just sit here, right? I can just move that over. Right. So okay, we've got 2 minutes to go here. Okay, so right here, this is where you want to be looking for the numbers. I tell you what, the last set of numbers we had came out so slow. I'm looking for lower than 30. I mean, yeah, below 30, and definitely sort of more below 15 would be ideal, and a rate above 4.2, I think is our number. Yeah. So I'm looking for those. Now, who's looking for strong numbers? You looking for strong numbers, Mike?
Um, Not now. I'm thinking the lower number now. I was kind of looking at strong, but I've got it set up to go lower. I'm about 14 or 15 pips on a pending order. I haven't clicked it yet, but I'm going to in a sec, underneath the market.
Okay. So I'm just sort of circling here the numbers that I'm looking for. So actually, let me just do that again because this is our ideal scenario, right? The yellow, but below the actual outcome is still a good result, right? There's the two forecasts, 30K and 4.1. So, and let me just draw that last little box. We've got 40 seconds. I love it when I put myself under pressure. All right. So I'm just looking for weakness on both numbers is my ideal thing. Okay, Aussie Swiss, I got that ready. So you want to put your finger on the button here too, right? If you're looking to place an order in the market, pending orders is fine. I think. What are you looking to trade there, Mike?
I'm on the New Zealand.
Yeah, cool. I don't think you'll be able to trade better live, but it's good to have that in case there is some massively strong number. Here we go. Oh shit. Okay, I'm in the trade there. I've just actually closed it out just because I got the 4.1 minus 52. Actually, that is a pretty shit number, but I think we'll see it higher. Just come back. Now, what have I done here with? Oh no, it's still going down. Okay, so the overriding part here is 4.1. What a bugger. I'm trying to see the numbers. If I had two different screens, we'd be better. 4.1, right? As expected. Minus 52. That's a worse outcome, and it's full time as well. And the participation rate is falling. That could be a part of it, but that's a weak number outcome. And so what I would be doing right now, I can't actually get the thing back up. Like that was crap, right? Because I just got in and got out for not much. What other positions? There's no other positions there. So, what a bugger. Just having it. This is the problem with actually running some of these live sessions. I can't see everything I want to see, but the number overriding is weak, and you're looking to sell. I'm looking. I thought that would come back just a little bit because the rate was still pretty good, right? 4.1. This is the weakness, right? So let's just have a look across the board here. What's going on?
Sterling Sterling went up more than I thought it would.
Sterling Aussie.
Yeah, as a buy.
Okay, let me just have a look here. Yeah, so that's what are we on there? Okay, I need to get all my rates back up here. I can't actually see what the hell I'm looking at. And what I'm talking about is on the platform there. I mean, it probably won't take me long once I get off the call. Is trying to work out like this thing here. This is useless to me. The Let me just get these things. Watch list. Oh my God. All right, that's not cool, man, because I like to be able to see everything that's happening, and I can't do it, which is just bloody crazy. Aussie Swiss. Okay, now this is what I was looking for, right? We want this to bounce back a little bit, like take the initial volatility, come back towards 70, right? It was at 70, 71 just beforehand, maybe even in the 60s. It would be there might be a little bit of a trade here. If I get it back into the sort of mid 60s, I'll be happy to sort of get into something on that, right? And if I just come back, show you the chart. Tell you what, if I had three screens sharing on the webinar, that would be handy. Okay, so see how okay, it's hit this support line, and I haven't just drawn that. That was already there. So back towards here, back to the price action would be ideal. It's sort of going down short term, long term, just even for an intraday trade, like a stocking filler. This could be one that does it quite nicely. And what happens is this is just understand the process when on numbers, right? The market charges in, right? It gets too far away, then they start getting squeezed, right? They sort of start buying some back, and then the natural trade comes, which is just getting short at a better level, right? So it's definitely looking like that's where. Well, that's the thing I like anyway. So just coming back to the overall markets, let's just have a look here. Obviously, weaker numbers. You can see the impact there on the Kiwi. Be trading the Kiwi as well as the Aussie. Let's have a look at the Oz. Yeah, doing the same sort of thing. This is like going to make the Aussie a difficult one because I think we're going to have sterling, euro sort of being sort of slowed down. Aussie's now being slowed down. The GDP in New Zealand, well, that's come and gone. That's now holding back. But the dollar's weak, right? So I think we've got to be starting to look at sterling and potentially the sterling crosses as the go-to from here because the rest of them aren't looking that peachy, right?
Okay, Brad, I got another question here. Like I had that trade on and I didn't get tagged. It was close, but I didn't. So I'm alive. Um, now I'm going against the trend, the uptrend. So I should probably just get out of this trade then.
In the
You
Kiwi?
think? Yeah,
Yeah, definitely. Right.
yeah,
There's no upside for that at the moment. If anything,
right.
there's only one trade there, and it's Aussie Kiwi, right?
Yeah.
Because and the Widowmaker, it's a tough one, and obviously we'll just come back to Aussie Kiwi, find it. The you know, well, it hasn't actually gone that far, really, unless my charts aren't updating. But it's a tough one, right? Because at Aussie
Yeah.
Kiwi, we are seeing a different shift, right? Kiwi's out of recession. Aussie employment number suggests, you know what, the RBA got to get off their ass and start talking about cutting rates. So that's actually, what did that go down to? Just below like 10, 15. Now it's up into the 30s. I think if you're looking for a trade, Mike, Aussie Kiwi could be the one. Definitely, I wouldn't be sort of holding on to my Kiwi position, right? Because you're right.
Yeah.
You've got, you know, the Kiwi, yeah, we had good numbers. It's going against the trend. It will just neutralize itself. I can't see it going down anywhere near as much as the Aussie.
Yeah, it's not even moving now. I mean, it's just kind of hanging there.
Okay, so there you go, right? For me, I'm happy to look to. Okay, so this is where you can actually have a shift in the overall trade, right? To me, like, do I need to rush into this? We've got the Swiss National Bank. Aussie Swiss Prime Time Pro downside to me is this is where it becomes easier, right? Now, you've just seen there, right? How, like, I didn't have the platform prepared. I actually thought, I don't know what's going on here with this thing, but I'll sort it out. But if I take off this and look at Aussie Swiss now, looking for, I mean, it's a long shot right now because momentum is down. Looking for a trade. only sell. Let's just stick with this until we get up. But this is like something you should just get used to placing in the market, because there's nothing to say that some random news doesn't come out and pushes this up, right? And the market just reacts, and then everyone says, "Oh, hang on a second, this shouldn't be higher," and you're looking for a move back down. So this, for whatever reason, could come back. It looks nice, and you get a nice trade to the downside. Of course, the Swiss National Bank is going to come into play, and you want to be keeping an eye on that. So right now, I've just got dollar yen in play. I'm waiting for it to get back up towards the cloud, right? You could be using Ichimoku Trader, but I think using Primetime Pro is going to be a better choice, just for timing. And that's it, right? Right now, they're the two trades that I have that I like, and I don't need to sit in front of the screens. But saying that, we do need to come back, check what's going on later on, because sterling can get a very good shakedown, right? Employment numbers will sort it out. Then we've got the Swiss National Bank, the randoms, right? They're lunatics. And then you've got the Bank of England. Now, the Bank of England, they aren't cutting rates. Whether there's a vote count change, I don't know. I don't think there probably will be, but they'll be going along the same lines as the Fed, and just keeping it cool. You would think there's no benefit talking things up, right? You can't go and manage your country's expectations around strong numbers and higher rates when it all looks pretty shitty. So anyway, but it might be the least smelling turd in the block, if you know what I mean. Euro and Aussie in particular are starting to look or smell a lot. Okay, now one other thing, just on the side of that, I mean, if you're around, just keep an eye on the Chinese, right? I saw this loan prime rate. They're notorious for just cutting rates whenever they want. There's no obviously guidance here. They don't want to tell the market what they're doing, but that could be interesting, right? If they cut rates, it's going to put further downward pressure on the Aussie, and that could see the Aussie really kick off to the downside as well. All right, guys, that's it from me. Just going to go and play 9 holes and just loosen up that golf swing. I think we've done most of the good work so far. So thanks for joining me, and hopefully made a little bit more sense. You know, I'm going to work out this bloody goddamn platform, but my God. All right, guys, have a good one. Let's keep in touch on the Discord there, right? See you guys.
Okay, have a good one, Brad.
Yeah.